I think self-worth and self-love is huge. Huge! Just as someone who's gone through a lot just from psychological abuse when I was young, I think most of us have gone through that stuff. We all have our baggage and our woundings and our huge dents on our psyche. And I'm just one of those people. And I realised as I went on in life, I had a cripplingly low self-esteem, but I had many talents and all of them became frozen because I didn't have that self-esteem. And until I actually did some substantial healing on my woundedness and emoting and learning to cry again, that was huge, could I start to loosen up that river inside me again and start to love and feel myself again. And it's only then that I could actually express myself in the world, like, you know, my talents, my comedy, my singing, my painting, you know, all these colours could start flowing out of me only when I'd start healed some of that damage.
In terms of how you healed, what advice would you have for others?
In terms of healing, I'd say you've got to emote. You can't do it intellectually. You've got to find the right people. You've got to find the right tribe to heal you. I went to several different counsellors and got something from all of them. But, you know, for me too, it's having the courage to take that step, because we're taught there's such a negative stereotype associated with being vulnerable, being hurt, being wounded, crying your eyes out for hours, being vulnerable, particularly for guys. We know all about that, and suicide and stuff, the high rate of suicide for young guys. So, yeah, learning to love yourself when you are at your most vulnerable, and remembering that is a healing experience. It's not a negative experience. It takes huge courage to be with yourself when you're that vulnerable and you're feeling that small. But if you can talk to yourself when you're in those really broken states and saying, I still love you, I understand how you got here, you've been through some really nasty shit that took your power away, I still love you, and now it becomes a healing thing. I had to learn to cry again. I was like a bloke. For 40 years I couldn't cry, I couldn't emote, you know. So what had happened to me was like it was a dam inside me, like a storm that never rained. And I think a lot of people who don't emote, who don't cry, they've got this storm inside them that never rains. That's the tears, the raining. It's so important. And as a result of that, we have mental illness, we have addiction, we have obsessive compulsive, the whole range of addictions, you know. To me, all of that comes down to wounding inside, the scream that hasn't been screamed, the tears that haven't been cried,